Board to order at 4:35. Present is myself, Fred Matrulli, Joe Caruso, Joe Priori, and George Mitchell.
Yes.
Four members, as well as Chris Lawrence and Kate Hartnett, as well as other customers. Okay, here we go. Hang on a minute, gotta open up my thing here, majig.
You have a thingamajig, Fred?
My phone, I got my the text on the phone and the other. Here we go. All right. First case, 7-20. Tax map 308, 17-428. Liberty Affordable Housing Incorporated, owner Liberal Affordable Housing Incorporated. Pursuant with section 2-29-2741, the applicant is seeking site plan approval for a project to be located at the aforementioned address. The applicant has proposed to construct a 1,940 square foot office and community center for the Park Edge Townhouse Complex. Site improvements will include new driveway, equipment storage shed, 12 parking spaces, patio, sidewalks, utilities, site lighting, and landscaping. Ingress and egress will be located off of Park Edge Drive. At the September 24th meeting, the board granted preliminary site plan approval contingent with favorable 239 review and satisfaction of comments by the engineering department. All right, Chris, you want to comment on that? Chris?
Sorry. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, would you mind kind of filling us in on how the engineering department felt about this?
I believe I read this in at the last meeting. For the site plan dated June 2020, the disturbed area is 24,000 square feet of proposed construction. The SWIP is not required. A sanitary sewer is available on Park Edge Drive. A stormwater sewer is available on Park Edge Drive as well. Curb cut permits will be required for the proposed driveway entrance. The driveway entrance proposed is 65 linear feet, so a variance will be required. That's from us and from the board. A street opening permit will be required for the sanitary lateral, stormwater pipe, gas service, water service, and electric service. Catch basin. They'd like to construct a new catch basin at the proposed inlet location. It should include a 3-inch sump in the bottom, or a 3-foot sump in the bottom, and a hood on a 12-inch outlet pipe. So that was sent over to Park Edge. So they did receive this. The biggest thing that we were waiting on was actually comment from Oneida County 239 review.
Mm-hmm.
We did not hear back from them, so we take that as a sign that they had no issue.
So no news is good news. Yeah?
No news is good news.
All right.
So we can move forward with this if you'd like to. Kate, I don't know if you'd like to make any other recommendations to the board at this time. I know that we would just like to verify. I know that we discussed this at the last meeting, but just to verify that while you're approving their site plan, you would also, make sure that, if you choose to, you're approving a variance for the driveway.
I think those should be, the variances come separately, so I would just vote to, two motions.
Didn't you vote last month for the variance?
Yes, we thought we did.
Yeah.
Well, that was for preliminary site plan approval. So, Kate, I just don't know if you need to go through that again, or if you can accept last month.
No, if they approved the variance last meeting, fine, it's on the resolution.
Hey, Kate, I apologize. Just on my end, you broke up a lot, so I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Chris, if they approved the variance at last month's meeting, is it in the resolution?
Yes.
Yeah, then that's fine then. Then you're good on the variance.
And just for a point of fact, I emailed Gene Santacroce a response to his letter on Friday the 9th, and we addressed his desire to have catch basins and hoods, and acknowledged that we would need to get a curb cut permit, a street opening permit for utility connections, etc.
So maybe if Chris, has Jean seen the resolution that shows that the curb cut variance was approved?
Yes.
Okay, so is that not acceptable to him?
Oh, that's acceptable to him.
Oh.
I was just reading, that's why I prefaced this with, I'm sure that this was read in at the last meeting. The memo I read was from Gene from September 22nd.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. Then all they need now then is final site plan approval, right?
And
Kate or Chris, in that final site plan approval, can we just put the contingencies that all the follow-ups from the engineering comments are adhered to?
Yes, absolutely.
And what was the decision on the seeker? Was that a type 2 action?
It's a type 2 action and no further review needs to take place.
Thank you.
All right, I make a motion to accept the plan as such, along with the curb cuts, et cetera.
I don't see why not.
I second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Joe, are you there? Joe Caruso, you're still muted. Joe?
Yep. Yes.
No,
Okay.
Joe Caruso's muted.
I'm sorry, I had
There
to
you
stop.
go. Okay. All right, so it's all in favor, so therefore the resolution passes.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, moving on to the next case. Case 8-20 is, I thought, now, why, this is the Hammond Ave site. Now, why would we have to be discussing this if the zoning board rejected?
That's a good question, Fred.
We don't. I mean, if the other one was, if they were refused at zoning board, why, it's kind of a moot point, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know why we have to even discuss this.
Well,
Kate, Chris, can you help us?
yes. Well, at the zoning board meeting, the applicant was denied. He had applied for an area variance to park on the lawn. And with this, he's asking for a curb cut variance so that he can build a driveway. I know it seems a little bizarre, but this is a separate variance.
Just a little.
So,
Yeah.
so I mean, you've still got to act as the planning board in this manner. The area variance was rejected by the zoning board because that was, that was their hour.
Hey, Chris,
That was
I'm sorry, Chris, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but why wouldn't the zoning board also take up the curb cut variance?
I thought they did.
They don't grant curb cut variances.
I see.
That's an act.
That's
Planning
just the
board.
planning board, yeah.
All right, okay.
All right. All right. Now, I think we're all familiar with exactly what went on there.
Right.
This gentleman decided to cut a huge portion of the front curb in his house and construct a second parking area, and where he already has a two-stall garage with a complete driveway, which feeds into it from Arthur Street. So I personally feel that the curb cut shouldn't be granted. It's not a commercial site. It's not an apartment building. It's a single family residence.
And it doesn't sound to me, Fred, and
It seems absurd that you would have to have that many parking spaces for a single, dwelling, residential dwelling.
And there's more in this, you, Joe, and others in this call know it better than I do, but it doesn't sound like a hardship case either. So, right?
No, it is. It isn't. Like I said, they have a nice sample driveway where they can easily park 4 vehicles.
Right.
Right in the driveway, as well as obviously access to the two-stall garage that's on the property.
Okay.
So I personally not in favor of it.
Nor am I, quite frankly, from what I've heard.
Well, one of the things that I spoke, myself and Joe Caruso both spoke, and as the chairperson of the zoning board for 13 years, you know, I believe people come into hardships when they purchase a property or have a property, and he just purchased this not I think like 3-4 months ago, and you know, I would probably, if he needed more space and had to move the driveway and eliminated one, but in this instance it's a corner lot. He has a fairly large 2-stall garage and a fairly large driveway, that if he needed more spots, quite frankly, on the driveway, he could have increased it. And this person has come before the zoning board before, for variances. So I think the process was well known of how you had to go through the process. And I think that was just completely ignored. The whole process was completely ignored, which is a little disturbing. And I also had stated that I have a situation at one of my houses on Wall Street where we cannot park a second car because they call the police because the tail end of a car just hinders into the sidewalk area where no one has to go into the road to walk around it. So I have an issue there, you know, but I just think that if it were that he didn't have a driveway and a fairly good sized driveway and a garage, you know, there may be some sort of consideration to say, hey, you know, gentleman needs something. He wants to be
Right, he needs an area to park, but that's
Right.
that's not the case.
Definitely not the case here, and it wasn't just one space. I mean, you could literally put 3 cars side to side through that curb opening. So, and I just don't think it's in character with the neighborhood. I do own the house up at 1245 Hammond Ave, and it's definitely not in with the character of the neighborhood. And when you go through the criteria, none of it fits. It's definitely a self-created hardship. And that's why I don't believe that this curb cut should be allowed. You know, I understand that the gentleman owns properties in City Utica and keeps them up, and that's all well and good, and it's appreciated as it should be, but we can't set precedents to start cutting curb after curb after curb, because then the next guy next to him might want to cut his curb, and it turns into the whole area. Just it's quite disturbing, So,
All right, is there any motions here on this?
I'll make the motion to decline.
The applicant on the line right now?
Say that
I
again,
mean-
Chris?
Is the
Yeah, I see it
applicant
right
on
there.
the line now?
Chris, you're breaking up.
I'm sorry, is the applicant on the line right now?
Oh,
Yeah, I just got my audio.
Okay, I just wanted to make
working.
sure that if he was on, we'd give him a moment to speak, but if he is not, then we'll go ahead.
All right, I just got my audio, so I don't know if anyone can hear me, but I just started listening. I was talking about the curb cut. I know mine's was a curb cut. Is this for Rutger Street?
No,
No, this
no.
is
Okay.
Hammond Ave.
Okay, gotcha.
yep.
Yep.
All right, then, was
Okay,
there,
if
there's a
applicant is
motion
not
and
on
was there a
Continue.
second to Joe's motion?
That was Joe
Second.
Priori?
yes, Joe Priori.
Right, and seconded by George Mitchell. Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Aye. Okay, I think it's unanimous. So I
Aye.
guess we decline the curb cut.
Okay.
Okay, next case.
This is the Rutger Street case, okay?
Yep.
Rupture Street, okay. Case number 9-20, 1015 Rupture Street. The owner is Elder Hutzik. Hopefully I didn't crucify your name.
Nope.
Eldar? Is
Yep.
that how you say it?
Hold on. Yep.
Okay. Pursuant to section 2-29-45B3, the applicant is seeking a variance in order to legitimize an illegal curb cut at the aforementioned address. According to this section, the planning board has the authority to grant curb cut variances and driveway approach variances in order with section 2-23-83 of this code. The applicant has proposed a curb cut to widen his driveway apron from 14 feet to 28 feet across. Section 2-23-82 states that the planning board may grant in writing variances for the strict application of the provisions of the article, provided the board first determines that the following conditions are present. Number one, the exception of variance desired arises from peculiar physical conditions not ordinarily existing in similar districts in the city, or is because of the nature of the business or operation at the abutting property. The exception or variance desired is not against the public interest, particularly the safety, convenience, and general welfare. Point three, the granting of the permit for the exception or variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or tenants. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So is this a residential property? I'd say yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so now he's got a single entry, right?
Correct.
Originally, I guess we should say. And he's already cut the curb, or was cut before?
The curb has not been cut. There
Okay.
actually wasn't a curb. There's only about 1 foot of actual curb. That's
Yeah,
there.
it looks like, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I see. So, and the reasoning for the extra parking, obviously you have multiple tenants or something in this building, is that?
No, it's actually just my mother and I that are living here, but she is partly disabled, so it's a little bit hard for her to have to walk around all of that to get in and out. But that part wouldn't actually be used for parking. That would just be essentially for loading and unloading of people or goods. We have a whole driveway that we would park the cars overnight. That would just be essentially just temporary use.
So just from the sidewalk to the curb is where you're widening it then? Is that what you're saying?
Essentially, yeah. It's pretty much where the skirt of the driveway is. I'm just doubling the width of it so I can park closer to the door.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like you're replacing the driveway all the way back to the garage.
Yep, yeah, it's all getting replaced.
Okay, all right.
And so you want to widen that by 10 feet is what you're saying?
By 14 feet, because it's 14 feet wide now.
Oh, 14
Get it
yes.
to 28.
Got
Double
it.
it up.
Yeah. Wow.
I guess I would ask, why so wide? I can see you wanting to increase it a bit, but I'm not sure I understand why.
Well, like I said, it's essentially one is for my mom. Well, there's two reasons. The second part being winter, but the first one is she has a lot of difficulty walking. So having it closer to the door essentially would put it right as soon as you get down the stairs. I can help load her in the car when she has doctor's appointments. The other thing is during the winter time, getting a car in and out to use a snow blower. It's a little dangerous when you've got mounds of snow and you're trying to park it in the street so you can actually clear out the driveway. This would let me clear out one end, move the car over without putting it into the street, and then be able to snow blow the rest of it.
But sir, it appears that at the very bottom of the stairs is the driveway. I mean, there's a flag of sidewalk in the driveway.
So you're looking at the side door, not the front door. The side door is inaccessible, and because we just finished putting that up, so that's inaccessible at the moment still, and we're probably not going to get that done until next year. The front door is the main door that we use.
Okay, so your mother goes in the front door?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
So you're saying you need, and so is there a ramp now for the front door?
No, she's able to still walk with assistance. She's not in a wheelchair, but she does have knee issues, hip issues, nerve issues in her back. So there's a lot of things going on, and it makes it a little difficult for me to get her in and out of the car when I have to take her to appointments from that main skirt of the driveway that I currently have.
Well, have you considered, and I don't even know if this is allowed, but a parking pad that would go parallel to the sidewalk, to the easement side, but to your side of the, in which would not require a curb cut?
Yeah. Well, from what I was told, that parking is actually not allowed between the curb and the sidewalk at all.
Well, it wouldn't be parking, it would be picking up and dropping off, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the same purpose, I mean, you wouldn't be parking on the lower part of this driveway apron either.
I think my suggestion was gonna be for that. I don't see why you have to take that big an area out over here. You can leave your driveway as is and take those bushes out and put a nice concrete pad between the sidewalk and the house for those bushes, and that'll make it even that much easier for your mom.
Yes,
There's really not that much room. There's probably about, I would say, 3 or 4 feet.
but it appears to be
It
a lot more than
looks
that.
like you've got at least 5 feet there, if not more, from the sidewalk back. Your sidewalks are 5 feet. There's at least 5 feet there,
Yeah.
at least.
I
And
mean,
then
because there's that, obviously you see the pictures where the
but
actual, where the
you're trying to
inaccessible.
double the apron of your driveway to say it's going to be easier to load up one person.
Yeah.
If you brought that car up to the sidewalk and you took all those bushes out and concreted that whole area, that would be that much easier to get your mom in the car. Exactly, right there. I mean, I don't see why you would need to take double the size of your apron. It just doesn't make sense.
I agree with Joe. I mean, that seems like a perfect solution and a much cheaper solution at that.
Exactly. I mean, this is not even widening it 3 feet, 4 feet. This is doubling the size of the apron. It's really not making. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, from what I was told, 20 feet is allowed as far as width. I'm going an additional 8 feet.
Well,
There's
it's
plenty
you're-
of land.
a large addition.
Yeah, no,
No,
I
you're going-
understand, but it's nothing but grass. Between the closest person, my other neighbor from the actual driveway side is closer to my driveway than the other person that's actually sharing a driveway next door. It's nothing but a tree and a bunch of land.
But a tree and a bunch of land is what makes a neighborhood.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying it's just taking away essentially what would have been 20 feet and adding an additional 8 feet for
No, it's not. You're
much
taking.
use.
I mean, you're saying you're going from 14 to 28 feet.
Yeah.
What's wrong with 20 feet?
I mean, nothing, but I'm saying that's the reason I dug out 28 feet. Mind you, this whole thing started before I even realized that there was a curb cut permit requirement. I thought it would just be widened out, and then I talked to Rick from Codes. He's like, no, you need to apply for a variance and go from there. So I was already dug out at 28 feet.
Well, the thing is that, I can understand you wanting to widen it.
Yeah.
I would, I just think 28 feet is just too much.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, I wouldn't be totally opposed to giving him, 4, maybe 6 feet.
Yeah, or no,
But-
if you think about it, let's face it, you need more than 8 feet. Like you said, you need 10 feet for a car. 8 to 10
Yes.
feet.
But
Your
but
car.
wait a minute, Fred. He's not parking the car in the apron. He's simply.
I know, but the point
access.
is, if there is one car there and he wants to use the driveway
Well,
to access in and out, I mean, you got to give him something. The other
That's
thing
kind
is,
of true for just about every house in that neighborhood. I mean, we would be giving up our front lawns totally if every house did the same thing.
Well, I mean,
The minimum
I
size of
wouldn't
the
be the
standard.
only house that would have a widened apron. If you just drive down Rutger Street, the majority of them have that, and they actually park there overnight. And they
What
also
are
have
the
driveways.
typical widths on many of the houses on Rutger Street?
look at the one right next door.
Just went by one, but that didn't have a curb cut. That doesn't have a curb cut. The one
I
you
see.
just went by.
And that's what you were talking about, Joe, right? Joe P.
Well, he could have, if he's saying it's for access for his mom, then you could have taken those bushes out, and that's an easy. I mean, the closest difference between 2 points is a straight line, and that would be a straight line to the car. But I wouldn't be totally opposed to giving him a little more apron. But I would say at the most to the edge of his right stair, which might be only 5 feet. I mean, but to double that size and to go on
Again,
what
the
he's
minimum
saying,
size of a
a lot
standard
of,
parking
a
space
lot,
is
a
9
lot of these
wide.
aprons, a lot of these aprons are for two houses. They're double driveway, they're a shared driveway. Well, somewhat shared driveway. Like this one here. Those are shared driveways over there.
Oh, some of them are shared driveways, but there are others
Right.
that just,
I mean, this one has no
Individual
driveway at all. This one here, that's it.
Oh,
That's my opinion.
Yeah, and also, unfortunately, we can't look at an example of something that was done poorly before and say, well, why can't I do the same thing?
Right.
well, that's the reason I'm here, is because I know that people have done it. They've done it essentially to circumvent the planning board. I'm trying to do this legitimately instead of just doing it out of whim and then dealing with the consequences afterwards, which
Well, you
I
really
have seen
did- you
multiple
really
people
did.
on this
You
road
already
do,
took it
literally
out.
one down the road.
You've already taken it out.
No, I'm saying I've taken out, but I haven't paved anything. There's literally a guy down the road that paved it and had to deal with codes afterwards, but he doesn't care. He's parking on it.
Well,
Well, this is what we just dealt with Hammond Ave.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
made the curb cut,
No,
they
that's what I'm saying.
paved
But
it.
I'm trying to actually legitimize this. So I'm
Oh,
trying
at
to
least-
find some sort of compromise between what I would like and what you guys are willing to give me.
but sir, recall from the earlier case, he's now required to restore it back to what it was. So
Yeah, but the thing is, my audio kind of came in late, so that's why I didn't hear part of that stuff. But even if he is required to fix that, what time frame are you giving him to do that?
45 days.
45 days, and if he doesn't, he gets another fine?
That's the zoning board. I just happen to be at the zoning board
No,
meeting.
I'm not. I'm asking just out of curiosity because I don't know. That's
I'm
why.
not on this. I don't know what the zoning board's.
He'll-
I believe so. He'd be in violation.
I'm saying
He'll
what
get a
are the
fine for every day he
consequences for him
doesn't
being
do
in
it.
violation? That is my question.
What's that?
My question is, what are the consequences for this person being in violation of zoning?
There could be probably up to, I'm not sure. I can't, Kate might.
That's
be able
why
to-
I'm asking. If you don't know, that's not a problem. I'm just asking because I'm not sure either.
Well, any
He'd
usually
be
code
fine.
violation,
It
any
would be
code
a fine.
violation
It would be
usually
a
is,
fine. It wouldn't be just a letter saying, gee,
You
you
know-
haven't got it done.
Yeah.
He'd
So he
have to
paid-
pay money.
So he would pay the fine, and then essentially, if he didn't continue to return it back to normal, the fines would continue. Is that what I'm understanding?
usually
Yep.
that's what it is, yeah.
Okay.
And you're
Hey,
lucky
Chris.
in your case that you don't have any curb to replace back to what it was in this instance, because, if that's granite curb, you have to replace it with granite. If it
Yeah.
was cement curb, then you have to replace it with cement,
Yeah.
Chris, is there any recommendation from the planning?
right.
There is not.
Okay, thank you.
Did
All
you-
right, my personal opinion, this is just me. I think we should give him some leeway. I think the 28 is too much. And the question is now deciding on what width. That would be the way I would,
Well, if he can go up to 20, we'll give him 6 feet. I mean,
That's what I was told.
ample space.
I was told that the skirt could be widened up to 20 feet without needing a variance.
all right, it probably looks like it wouldn't look bad because that would run past the.
You can have up to 20 feet as in a residential driveway.
Then
And
I'd say,
if you look at the minimum width of a parking space, it's about 9 feet.
9
So-
feet, yeah, that's right. You gotta have that. And the other thing is that if he gets that, it looks like, it wouldn't look bad. In other words, the driveway would end just past the entrance, the new entrance door that he has. So it would look legitimate, is what I'm trying to say. It would be fairly cosmetically appealing, as opposed to the 28 feet. Do you agree?
I wouldn't be opposed to up to 20 feet.
Okay, so that's two of us. I would make a motion that we allow him to expand it to 20 feet.
Joe, what's your thoughts, Joe?
And I'm losing audio again.
Joe Caruso.
What is my thoughts? I would say allow the minimum of what could be extended.
Well, I think he's allowed 20 feet total, so 6 feet.
I guess that's what it would be.
And I mean, I don't think that would,
And the opportunity to pave between the sidewalk and the stairs, if that
If
were.
you wished, yeah. That's a different story. It's totally different.
Oh.
No, I'd say 20 feet is the right number.
So before we go any further, though, guys, Chris, I mean, do you need a variance for a 20-foot cut?
No, 20 feet, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kate, but 20 feet is the maximum width for a residential driveway
Without a variance?
What? No,
without a variance.
without a variance?
But they would still need a curb cut
Yes,
permit.
That's what I mean. They still need to come for it. So he's legitimizing what he's doing by
Okay.
coming before us.
All
And
right,
we
now it's clear to
approve,
me. Okay.
even though there's not really a curb there, we're legitimizing him to have a total of 20 feet.
Yeah, in other words, have a driveway opening
Okay.
20
Right.
feet.
Can we see the,
Which
can we see the
which is 8
photograph?
what he wanted. He wanted to expand that maximum 20 feet by 8 additional feet.
Yes, yes.
No.
I want to do that.
Actually, can I
Allowing
clear
him
one
to-
thing up about that? The 28 feet would actually be on the road and it would taper in to 26 feet.
No.
No.
I just want to let you on that little bit of info. That was the
No,
difference. Instead of being
You want to
straight.
take 6 feet straight up? Take 6 feet straight up. I mean, you measure 14 feet and you go an extra 6 if you want to come straight up to where your porch is, fine, Yeah.
I made the motion to allow for the 20-foot and the 20-foot curb cut. Is there a second?
I'll second Joe Priori.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Anybody opposed? No? Okay, the motion passes. So you can cut the curb up to 20 feet. That's the end of that.
Okay. So
20 feet, could you add the word total to that, please, just so that it's understood? 20 feet total.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
20 feet total, no taper, straight.
You can go straight.
Right. You can go straight up on both sides. Right.
What if you want to drive
Sure,
it?
you can still do a 2-foot taper from 20 to 18, but if you want that full 20, I mean, you're looking at
Go
just
for
straight.
it. The curb cut is 20. That's the answer. The rest of it is up to him.
I got that. So am I still required to have a curb cut permit even though there's no actual curb there? That is my next question.
But we just approved it.
No, I'm just saying
A
it's,
curb cut variance?
We allowed the variance. Now the question is when you cut the curb, which I can't answer. Chris, can you answer that for him? Does he need to go to the engineering department or anything?
No, because that's something approved by this.
Right.
Okay, so you're all set.
okay. So no curb cut permit required.
Nope.
That's that.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You guys have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Where are we at? Case 10-20, 1002 Oswego Street, James Trasher, excuse me. The owner is 1002 Oswego Street LLC. Pursuant with section 2-29-45A1, the applicant is seeking preliminary site plan review for a commercial warehousing development at the aforementioned address. The applicant has proposed to develop the remaining 6 plus or minus acres of the former Bazard site by constructing a new 21,600 square foot structure to be occupied by United Auto Supply for warehouse distribution and limited retail use. Proposed site improvements include 95 additional parking spaces, site lighting, new ingress and egress on Oswego Street, 2,000 square foot canopy, loading dock, landscaping along Oswego Street, Lenox Avenue, and between the 2 parking lots. As per seeker compliance, the applicant has submitted a full environmental assessment form. As the project is categorized as an unlisted action, it will require coordinated review with the appropriate agencies. Additionally, the project is located within 500 feet of the state highway and will require a 239 review by the Oneida County Planning Department. Okay? Now, who do we have representing this? Chris, I'm still looking at the Rupture Street plan.
Yep, getting the other one set up for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Brian Bouchard. I'm sitting in for my principal engineer, James Trasher, this evening. We are the project engineer for United Auto Supply, who's the owner of the property under the entity 1002 Oswego Street. Thank you, Chris. We could see the site plans now. So this site has some history. Obviously, United Auto Supply did some really good things here a couple years back when we came through for the original construction of the original building, which United Auto Supply currently does occupy. And since then, they've acquired a few tenants within the ancillary space to that existing building. And when you all approved the original site plan for this redevelopment site, there was the intent to place a couple different things over the years on the residual land that have since fallen apart. One of them was a nice and easy. There's been talks about a couple other different uses over there, and none of them have materialized. But what has recently materialized is the existing tenants have been so successful within that building that they have an opportunity to potentially expand. So what United Auto Supply is proposing to do under this application is basically vacate their existing space in the existing building so that those tenants could expand for their future growth and build a new United Auto Supply facility within this proposed building that you see. It's about 120 by 180 square feet. Perfect fit for their needs. It's about the same size as the space they have over there now. You can see it's set up in a similar fashion with their pickup and delivery canopy off to the east side here. As we go through sort of the site plan, the site building itself will be constructed of a masonry construction. Thank you. Perfect. We got the elevations up here now, with some accents of some metal panels around the entranceways. As part of the planned extraordinary district, I believe, as Chris has explained, we've included the signage for United Auto Supply in the plan as well. It matches the scale and size of the building. It's similar to the signage that they have on the existing building now. And what we're proposing is one that would face Oswego Street, which is where the existing curb cut is. It's about 78 square feet of those nice backlit dimensional letters. And the other one would face the arterial for some visibility there as well, which is really the front facade of that building. If we go back to the site plans quickly, a lot of the infrastructure was already put in place with the original construction. So this is really kind of a pad-ready site. There's an existing curb cut on Oswego Street near the arterial that would be maintained for access in and out of the site. And we'd be proposing one additional curb cut a little further up Oswego Street in order to get some circulation around that parking area and for deliveries in the back there, which is what you can see just to the top of the page. There is an existing landscape berm. It's a little bit higher than natural grade that we constructed to kind of buffer the adjacent street behind us. And that landscape berm will be extended down through this new site improvements. We have a pretty good sized parking field, 95 spaces, but there is a lot of green space that's tucked into some of the islands and around the edges here. We also have, similar to the existing building, the ability to get the trucks in and out with a loading dock and actually have a covered dock space that's part of the building on the rear that you can see. In the back of the site, we would have a dumpster enclosure, also very similar to what's going on at the existing building next door. And really the only other improvements other than the parking area in the building are to connect the utilities. So we have plenty of utility access off Oswego Street that would include the sanitary sewer, water, electric, gas, and then we'd be installing a matching site lighting plan so that this site looks consistent throughout. This is a good aerial to show that pad-ready site is over there and what's already been constructed. A couple things to note. Number one, Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, but we did do the seeker review for the entirety of this site during the previous approvals, so I'm not sure that there's any action that this board would need to take regarding the seeker review. And second is that we did receive comments from Gene in the city engineering office, which were pretty basic comments requiring us to get permits for the different utility connections, and any sidewalks that are disturbed need to be restored. And we've since responded to those comments, and Chris got our response letter earlier today that acknowledges we have no problem with those comments. They're easy to absorb. And we'll make the appropriate, we actually already have made the appropriate corrections within the site plan set, so that we're basically ready to start construction as soon as we get the necessary approvals. And to that end, you know, I know that I think we were worded as being maybe preliminary approval, but being that this is kind of the last leg of the journey to get this done, if there's any consideration based on our discussion in a second here, if there's any outstanding questions or comments, but we truly appreciate, you know, a preliminary and final approval if there's no objections, with some sort of, you know, contingency to protect yourselves that, you know, there's a positive GML 239 review that comes back, because I know that hasn't come back yet. And obviously the condition that we meet all those engineering requirements for the permit. So that's it in a nutshell, and I can definitely take any questions or comments that you guys might have.
As far as the proposed, I see that there's some proposed landscaping in that area. What's in the works there?
Well, the berm, the berm was really, sorry.
The berm is,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a question that we had as well, because there is a landscape berm currently, but there is no landscaping on it.
And it was supposed to be too, and never got put in, it looks like. There's supposed to be trees on that berm.
Comment is, if I could just interject, gentlemen, as I drive past this location, it looks like a building with four walls, and it looks very dull. There's no life that emits from that location. I realize that the site certainly was restored. There was a lot of investment put into the facility, but for that neighborhood, it's plain Jane looking. And I, quite honestly, as I go by there every day on the arterial, I would like to see a little more vibrancy to the location. And then what I mean by that is, just like we were talking about Rupture Street and how that's trees and grass, I don't get the same sense here at this location.
Understood. So two things that I think will help that. The proposed building elevations that you have for this particular building do include that brick masonry construction, which is a little bit different than the more plain facade that you referenced. We also have some of these black aluminum storefront windows that kind of break up that facade. And in terms of landscaping, that's perfectly fine. We have the ability to plant that landscape berm with, I don't know how you would want to word it in any type of resolution, but, you know, an appropriate spacing of some sort of trees with maybe shrubs that would be filled in between it, so that there's something on top of that berm. And we could do the same thing within the landscaping that's along Oswego Street, even though that's more of an approach off the arterial, but we have a pretty good green space that's being preserved along that sidewalk that we can plant street trees and you know, some smaller groupings of maybe some low-lying shrubs to kind of break that up a little bit as well.
So maybe Chris,
And again, all at the same size, the same level.
Correct. The grading would be, but my understanding of the comment is that it's great that we have that elevation to kind of break up headlights and things, but let's put some actual trees and shrubs on top of it. That's no problem. Sure.
Was that part of the original approval of the approval for the original building?
Yes.
Does anybody know?
Yes. Well, I can comment on it. I can't tell you exactly what was worded, but the original intent was that to protect those houses, and it was the residential aspect of the neighborhood.
Right.
You know, give them some level of isolation from the commercial island out there. That's the old Buzzard site, regardless of what was put there. So that was the object of the berm, was to put the berm and then foliage, like he said, and that it wasn't specific as far as what it was, but it was the idea of having a break front, if you would, between that property and the residential properties behind it.
So, my reason why I asked, and I appreciate that, Fred, is, if I don't know that the original details that were approved have been followed through on. So, and if that's not the case, what's going to be different here in this approval to
Well, I
ensure that
think
it does?
what we need is some a landscape architectural layout, which would define the plantings rather than just words. It's not any big deal. They know how to do that.
Yeah.
Just actually give us a drawing of what's going to be where, and then we can approve it.
Is that something, I mean, we definitely have landscape architects, registered landscape architects in-house that we can definitely put that plan together. Is it something that you would definitely want to see as a board in order to approve, or can we put it in words with a resolution and then leave it to the planning department to maybe pass it by you so that we don't have to just come back with some plantings next month and, push us further?
You don't want to lose a month is what you're saying.
Yeah. And I think I understand perfectly what you're saying. Let's put an appropriate spacing of street trees and fill it in with shrubs along that berm.
Yes.
And then bring some green space into this other landscape area along Oswego Street and up along the building. We could definitely fill that in. And if you believe that Chris and Brian are capable of kind of rounding that out and making it one of the contingencies of the approval, we have no problem with that, providing that
If I
plan.
can just interject, if we can also check back to what the original approval was of the site and what was expected to be completed or part of the completed project, and we can make sure that that's also completed or at least
Well, his architectural drawing will be complete, right? It'll go through not just the portion of the berm that you're dealing with now, but the whole berm, correct?
Correct. Yeah, no, we could definitely carry those plantings all the way across that entire road frontage, even across the berm that was constructed previously. Definitely.
Chris, what do you think about that? What are you saying about approval?
As far as working with him for the landscaping to
Yes.
present to you guys to make sure that it's okay.
this way he can get.
How soon do you think we'd be able to do that?
I could get you a plan by Monday.
Okay. Well, because what I was going to suggest is that, I know that I had asked you guys
I knew you were going there,
to
Chris.
be able to have a special meeting next week, that other application. I mean, if we're going to meet anyways, I think that,
I'm okay with that.
Me too.
come back to you then.
What time was that meeting scheduled?
Tuesday,
We
right?
never set time. I don't know if Monday or Tuesday is best. I know Mondays were best for George. Joe could not do Monday, but you could do Tuesday maybe?
Look, if it helps, I'll make Tuesday available as well. Let's get it.
I'm
scheduled.
available Tuesday.
Yeah, well, that'll give him a couple days to work on this project.
Yeah.
Let's
and in the
do Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yep.
Tuesday at 4:30?
4:30 Tuesday, guys?
So Brian, I'm not speaking for the whole board, although I think everyone feels the same way. I mean, I think your presentation for the most part was good. It's a good project. We just want to make sure this detail's buttoned up, okay?
Got it. Yeah, that's fine. It sounds like I'll be back here on Tuesday talking about landscaping and we can button it up then. That couple days doesn't really hurt us. It was really just, waiting for a whole nother month because then we're into Thanksgiving
That's
and
right.
stuff.
That's
So.
right.
Then Tuesday it is.
And I'm available Tuesday.
That's understandable. Now, James, wow, I'm off. Hey, so I have a question, Brian. Is the building, I don't have the former plan in front of me. Is the building that you're proposing more or less square footage than what had been originally proposed? Because the only other thing I remember proposed for this was, like you said, the nice and easy with a larger, market type store.
I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head what the square footages are. And I was trying to, while we were all talking here, pull up what the approved site plans are, but they're so far buried in my file here. It's going to take me another minute, but we can check on that as well. What would be the implications? I mean, obviously, a nice and easy, I don't think was 20,000 square feet. So my instinct is that this building is slightly larger than that, but it doesn't, I don't think, exceed any of the other thresholds for, you know, it's not more than 50% expansion of the site or some of the other things if you're referring to like the seeker.
Well, the nice and easy, right, the nice and easy was gonna take all the land anyway.
Right, yeah, impervious
That's
area
the
and stuff is definitely the same.
Right.
I think
I don't see
that-
any problem with that.
I was going to say that just hearing that would kind of indicate to me that the seeker process we already went through is sufficient.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
Good.
Thank you, Kate.
All right, then we'll see you on Tuesday.
Very good. I'll get Chris a copy of that by PDF so that he can, if he has a way to circulate it to y'all before the meeting. Otherwise, I'll be ready to screen share it and we'll show you what we got on Tuesday.
That's
All right,
perfect.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
All right,
Yeah.
see you.
Two.
Yep, bye.
Gentlemen, while you're still on the line, just to confirm, Tuesday at 4:30 works?
Yes.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
we make a motion to table? No,
Yeah, I think that would be in order.
I make a motion to table.
All right, I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to table until Tuesday. Okay, we're good with that. All right, is there a motion to terminate the meeting or?
So moved.
Is there anything else to discuss?
Nothing else, that's it. Last
All
case.
right. I make a motion to terminate the meeting, to use your words, Fred.
That's right.
I
To
second
expunge
that
it.
the motion.
Okay, very good. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
See you guys
Thank you,
Tuesday.
everyone.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.